reporter has written.
May I have your attention now, please? Market. Special meeting of the Pacific Palisades Board of Education to consider certain charges, unsubstantiated charges, make it, involving Mr. Frank Michaelson, President of the Board, Hector G. Ivor, Vice President, presiding. This is, I am sure, a very painful occasion for all of us. Our high regard for Frank Michaelson, our friend as well as president, makes it, I am sure, a very painful occasion for all of us. But in view of this editorial this afternoon, you saw this?
Yes, I did.
Very painful indeed. Would you be good enough to pass this around, please? This is, in effect, a public demand for either his resignation or dismissal. And as such, it is, of course, beneath our notice. But then, we can't afford to ignore it, of course. This demand is based on what I would consider the most unfortunate type of publicity for a president of the Board of Education. Like this, for example. You saw this?
Yep.
And this other one, just a month or so ago. Honestly, sometimes I really wonder where the papers get all the stuff they print. Can't make it all up, can they? You know, you'd think that once Frank got out of town, all he did was fight cops and chase girls and read dirty books. And as a matter of fact, he's a married man with a family. A very beautiful wife, one of the nicest people I've...
All right, now, Hector. Now, let's get on with it, huh?
No, I'm sorry, Frank, but it's just these terrible stories. And, oh, my goodness, here's another one. Frolicky Frank the lawyer in orbit on Paris nudist cruise. Pass this around, please. Well, we have an old saying in my family, where there's fire...
Mr. Ivor.
Yes?
Don't you think we ought to hear him before we hang him?
Hang who?
Since these reports cast an extremely grave reflection on Mr. Michelson's reputation, both public and personal, may I suggest that he be invited to say something on his own behalf before the board even considers official action?
Well, that's a very good idea, Mr. Farquhar. You mean we should hear him first and then take action afterwards?
That's it.
Well, very good indeed. All right, Frank. The floor is yours. Anything you wish to say?
Fine, Hector. Why, thanks, Harry. Ladies and gentlemen, I suppose that it's all right if I remain seated. Huh?
Just as you wish.
I suppose that it'd be unfair to blame it all on Picasso.
Picasso?
Yes, he's an artist who paints women with 3 breasts.
American women?
Of course, he has a lot to answer for, but I doubt very much whether he could be held accountable for the awakening of sex in my daughter.
Easy there, Frank. Mixed company.
Yes, Hector. My daughter, Molly, she's almost 20 now. Darling girl. Just a real sweetheart. And without any question whatever, one of the biggest headaches in the whole history of this country. But for reasons far beyond her control or ours. It just so happens that God, in his infinite wisdom, saw fit to bestow on Mrs. Michelson and myself a living, breathing invitation to trouble in the shape of what I sometimes have heard described as a dish. The parents of a dish live lives composed of about equal parts of love, pride, and stark terror. As a class, they suffer from insomnia, and many of the fathers are still nail-biters at 50. They almost always faint when the phone rings after midnight. But as long as Molly was in high school, we had little cause for alarm. She was still not much more than a child, and quite unaware of her effect on boys.
I can't understand it. Just 5 minutes ago, they were the best of friends.
Mrs. Michelson and I are now convinced that the British have the right idea about education for a girl. If she can spell cat, that's it. But Molly had done so well in high school. especially in art.
Eric?
We really felt that she'd earned the right to give her talents every possible opportunity to develop and flower.
Eric!
All of her marks in school had been above average, an overall B+, I believe. However, in art, that's where she really excelled.
Oh, it's just an outline, sir.
Not bad, not bad. Just needs a little touch. A dash.
She'd set a new record for the school by leading her class for 4 straight years.
Blue in the background. A little green up in here. You see? You need just a little boldness and daring. A little sweep.
Oh.
You understand what I mean?
Yeah, I think I get the idea.
They say the father is always the last to get it. Well, all I know is that it wasn't until the day we saw her off to college that it began to dawn on me that there must be more to Daddy's darling little baby girl than had previously met the eye.
Transworld Airlines.
Hi, Adele. Hi, Molly. Hi, Mrs. Michael.
Hello, Adele.
You on Flight 66? Sure am. Sensational. Couldn't stand the idea of going somewhere by myself. Who's that? Oh, that's Adele McDougal. She's going to horse on, too. Oh, hi, Raj.
Hi, Ma. You on 66?
Yeah, you?
Man over there.
See ya.
Transworld Airlines. Flight 72 for Denver.
Now, if there are 2 things that Mrs. Michelson hates from the very bottom of her heart, they are race prejudice and having to pay excess baggage charges.
And hurry, darling, here he comes.
Please,
Look, I'm not him, I tell you. I'm not him. Now, leave me alone.
SAS Flight 48 to London and Copenhagen. Now leaving from
All
gate
right, how much
4.
overweight?
None.
None with that load?
No, you see,
All right,
Frank,
don't tell me. I know there's something crooked about it, but I don't want to hear it. Not at a time like this, anyway. Well, honey, come over here for a minute. We're going to miss you, sweetheart.
Now, darling, I'm not going to lecture you.
Now, you stop that, Liz, and put that stuff in this one.
Now, darling, I'm not going to lecture you. I'm not going to embarrass you by telling you how much I love you. Now, you all know that already.
Transworld Airlines, Flight 502, Golden
I just want to say to you right now that this is the proudest moment in my whole life. I mean, to see you growing up like this. You're a wonderful daughter, Molly. And now you're going to away to college, and you
on this flight, Molly?
Yeah, you?
Wild.
I see you.
Now, college, you know what college is. College is an investment in the future, a future of fulfillment and happiness. And you know what every woman's hope for fulfillment and happiness is? A marriage. A satisfying, a beautiful marriage.
You on 66, Ma?
Yeah, I'll see you.
Fantabulous.
Scooby.
Scooby-Doo.
I'm sorry, Daddy.
Where was I?
Something about marriage,
Oh,
wasn't it?
yeah. Well, what I
Are you on
mean-
66, Molly?
Yeah, and she'll see you. Don't you know any girls?
Oh, I'm sorry, Daddy.
No, I'll take one more crack at it. All I'm trying to say to you...
66, Royal Ambassador Service for Boston.
Oh, it's okay, Daddy. I get it, and I'm really going to try hard. I promise you.
I know you will. I know you will, sweetheart. Now, look, boys, I told you I'm not him.
Oh, you go ahead and sign it anyway. What do you care?
All right, give me.
Oh, excuse me.
This was the way it had been, this confusion with that actor. Ever since Mr. Smith Goes to Washington came out.
Thank you, Mr. Stewart.
Oh, well, thank you, boys, and remember me to all my other fans in your age group.
Goodbye, sweetheart. And be a good girl.
Bye, Liz. Bye, Molly.
Miss you.
I thought you were going to check this. Holy mackerel.
Frank.
Well, the thing weighs a ton.
Here's the tag. Don't worry, Dad. We know how to do it.
Well, I don't doubt that for a minute. But what if everybody did that?
But everybody does, Dad. Come on, Liz. Come here.
Everybody, that's a good way to get a hernia, too.
Here's your pocketbook.
Oh,
There.
thank you. My,
So you want this?
please. My ticket. I don't have my ticket.
Bye, Mom.
Bye.
Bye, Harry. See you. Bye. Bye.
Boy, you got boyfriends all over the place.
And why not? She's a dish.
United Airlines, flight 141 from New York.
Have a good time.
Thank you.
You see?
Bye, Ma.
Bye, baby.
Bye, bye.
Someday there's going to be a plane out of here with nothing but women passengers, and it's not going to be able to take off at all. It's going to roll all the way to Kansas City on the ground.
Do you think she'll remember to write to us every once in a while?
She'll write like any other normal, well-brought-up American girl. When she needs money.
Hawthorne is generally regarded as one of the finest colleges for women in this country. It not only has a fine art department, noted for its advanced studies, but surrounded as it is by the noble scholarship of venerable Ivy League universities, there is no finer location in America for meeting boys.
Here they come.
Who?
The scouting parties to look over the new crop of freshmen. That's Harvard. First again.
Harvard.
Every year, the first Saturday, here they come again. Just like those nutty swallows checking in a Capistrano. Amherst.
Amherst? How can you tell?
Oh, those fellows are practically hysterical even before they get here. 2 years ago, one of them leaned so far out of his car, he fell and broke his collarbone. Williams.
How do you tell them?
Neckties. But don't let that fool you. They'll crawl over you around here with or without neckties.
What is it?
Men.
Oh, really? And I just finished writing the family that I'd wound up in a nunnery. Well, for goodness sakes.
Look at the red hat! Look at the red hat! Oh, brother!
What they're doing is they're sort of earmarking the ones they like for future reference.
That's a cute one. That blonde in the Williams car. Well, of all the nerve. Why, I've never heard of anything like that before in my life. How do we meet them? Hey.
But don't expect to ring the bell on the first date. Unlike her more sophisticated European sister, the American female likes to worry you to death first. Uh-oh, red alert. You know, I was just saying...
Cigarette, Adele?
Oh, thank you, Sarah.
We have light?
Please. Hey, Adele, Sarah!
Oh, hi, Molly.
Hello there, gorgeous. How'd you like to,
We're just going down to mail a letter.
Wonderful.
I can already see their epitaphs. They had their chance at Harvard men and muffed it.
So Friday night, I had a date with this cute Amherst boy, Archie, and we went to a lecture by Margaret Mead, who said that young people in college should not marry, but should experiment.
Who said that, Margaret Mead or Archie?
Well, Margaret, evidently. I understood her to mean experiment mentally, but Archie insisted she meant physically. And that's why I've got to look around for somebody else for next Saturday night. Well, that gives her the first round anyway. Monday night, I heard Norman Thomas speak on disarmament, which he naturally regards as absolutely necessary. And isn't the world situation simply abysmal? I sometimes think it won't last another week, and here I am, still a Well, Liz, would you get the paper, the morning paper, the evening paper?
Okay, but don't go on till I get back.
I sometimes think it won't last another week, and here I am, still a virgin.
Still a what?
Student.
Is that all? Could I be excused, please?
Yes, dear.
Look, Anne, how prepared would you say Molly is for this sort of thing?
What sort of thing?
You know darn well what sort of thing I mean.
Well, a girl would have to be pretty dumb, you know, not to have picked up a few of the essentials by the time she was 18.
Well, you haven't had a little talk with her?
No, didn't you?
Well, no, but don't you think you should have had some kind of a talk?
Probably, but I never could think of anything that I didn't think she already knew.
All right, well, how did your mother tell you?
Are you kidding?
Well, who told you?
A cousin of mine who went to kindergarten in Alabama.
Did she know much?
Enough to get married to a Texas oil man at 16.
16, yeah.
Who tipped you off?
Oh, well, if I remember correctly, I think I got my first briefing from another bobcat in the Black Puma Cub Scout den. Fellow named Dolan. The only thing about it was he got most of it backwards. He was on the right track, but he just turned the...
Nothing from your father.
Dad? Well, Dad wouldn't discuss a thing like that with one of his own children.
Well, somebody must tell their children. At least that's what it says in all the books I've read.
Not in our crowd. We got it where people ought to get it, behind the garage. Now, let's be serious about this, Ann. Now, this may very well be the most important problem that Molly will ever be faced with in her whole life. And if she's not prepared for this...
Now, look, Frank, I'm just as concerned about Molly as you are. But children get their standards far more from the kind of homes that they've grown up in and the examples they've seen than they do from any of those miserable little talks in which nobody can meet anybody else's eye. And I think that you and I are reasonably decent and well-behaved people, and, well, for the most part, our home has been a very happy one, hasn't it?
Well, yeah, sure.
Well, in other words, for 18 years, we've done the very best that we could for Molly within the limits of our wisdom, whatever that may be. And if it turns out now that that wasn't enough, well, que sera, sera.
What do you mean, que sera, sera?
What will be, will be.
What will be, will be.
Unless you can think of anything better.
Well, if you don't mind my saying so, I think that's one hell of an attitude for a mother to take toward her own daughter's virtue. And if I had this whole thing to do over again, I'd do everything differently. I'd have boys. As it turned out, she wrote too much as far as I was concerned. I don't know, there are just some things a father doesn't want to know about. And the way Molly wrote, never quite finishing a letter. Boy, I haven't lived through such cliffhangers since they moved the Hitchcock show to my bowling night. And then suddenly there was a change. Things got worse.
Frank, there's someone at the door. Frank. There's someone at the door.
Who is it?
Who is it? There's your robe. Go on.
What did you turn the lights on for? What'd you turn the lights on for? If you just left the lights off, you buzzed his brains out and gone away. Now, you know, we're trapped. You have to go down in the middle of the night. All right. Who is it?
Western Union. Sorry.
Okay.
Sign here, please. And the time.
Well, what time is it?
2:30 will be close enough.
2:30.
Thank you.
All right.
Good night.
It's a telegram from your sister, Liz.
At 2:30? Did Molly get married or something? What does it say?
We haven't quite decoded it yet, dear.
Good night. Well, that telegram ended the kid stuff. Molly had now arrived at what the sociologists call the social consciousness or the don't wash your hair stage. And it's during that stage that a lot of parents get hooked on phenobarbital.
I don't see when she had time to study.
It also led directly to that first newspaper story there, you know, the one about the misunderstanding with the police over those books.
Incidentally, what were the name of those books?
I'll get to that, Hector. There was just one small ray of hope remaining, though. During the social consciousness stage, there's no room for romance. Sex is out. There's complete dedication to man's fate in a doomed world.
But it's an integral part of life, darling.
Hava, Nagila Hava, Nagila Hava, Nagila Venus Maha, Hava, Nagila Hava, Nagila Hava, Nagila Venus Maha, Hava Nira Nina, Hava Nira Nina, Hava Nira Nina, Venus Maha, Hava Nira Nina, Hava Nira Nina, Hava Nira Nina, Venus Maha, Uru, Uruahim, Uruahim Belev Samea, Uruahim Belev Samea, Uruahim Belev Samea, Uruahim Belev Samea, Uruahim, Uruahim, Uruahim Belev Samea.
Shalom. Oh, hi, Clancy. Mr. Clancy Sussman. Hi. How wonderful. Oh, no, but she promised. Well, to tell you the truth, it doesn't surprise me a bit. Her parents are Boston, and they've always been a little chintzy in Boston about guitar playing. Well, I'll try. I thought. Now, what was so wonderful? He got the coffee house set. He signed the lease this afternoon. It's called the Sleeping Pill. The Sleeping Pill. And you know what? He wants me to sing in it. It was supposed to be Bev Perkins and me, only she chickened out. Her family objected.
Oh, well, what about Alex? He's a marvelous folk singer.
Oh, are you crazy? For folk singing, you have to have either girls or one of those big dog patch families. Don't you know who's going to sing with me?
Who?
You.
Me? What are you talking about? I can't sing.
Well, you don't have to, crazy. It's folk singing.
What?
And anyway, who will hear us? You know how noisy those joints are.
But that's not the point.
The way Clancy allowed it, nobody will see you either.
If you don't want it all dirty at my feet and take it,
Oh, heck
look,
no.
we'll be what Clancy calls ambience. I mean, all we have to do is sit on a tall stool and wear miles and miles of beads.
Well, what kind of folk songs?
You know what kind, the fa-la-la stuff.
A maid went to Dublin to sell at the fair. She met a young man up ahead. He promised to teach her to fa-la, but she taught him instead fa-la. She taught him instead.
Ambience. Ambience. I used to know what that meant.
I'll bet she's a bee girl.
Liz.
Here. Ambience. Environment. Surroundings. Especially a decorative art. The totality of motifs or accessories surrounding and enhancing the central motif.
Say, gosh, that sounds like a Playboy bunny.
I think we better listen to the record.
Yeah. She told us we'd have to make allowances for the acoustics. The place used to be a bowling alley.
Yeah.
A pretty girl that gets a kiss and goes and tells her mother. A pretty girl that gets a kiss and goes and tells her mother. Does a very foolish
Contemporary, they call it.
I've heard people snore prettier than that.
Don't deserve another. Here's to the girl who steals a kiss and stays to steal another. Here's to the girl who steals a kiss and stays to steal another. She's a joy to all mankind.
Take it off, baby.
She's a joy to all mankind.
Hey, take it all off,
and
baby.
Soon she'll be a mother, and soon she'll be a mother.
The brown bag or the black?
The black. Information, what's the number of Trans World Airlines? Of course, I know now that the only smart way for a father to deal with the awakening of sex in his daughter is to go back to bed, pull the covers up over his head. But this was my first time at bat, and I still had a few delusions of competence. Live and learn. Boy, live and learn.
A pretty girl that gets a kiss and goes and tells her mother. A pretty girl that gets a kiss and goes and tells her mother. Does a very foolish thing, does a very foolish thing, does a very foolish thing. And don't deserve another.
Hey, take it off, baby.
Here's to the girl who steals a kiss and stays to steal another. Here's to the girl who steals a kiss and stays to steal another. She's a joy to all mankind. She's a joy to all mankind. She's a joy to all mankind.
Take it off, baby.
And soon she'll be a mother. And soon she'll be a mother.
Oh, you true artisan, you sang magnificently. And now would you clear off those tables before you start doing the dishes?
Clancy! I'd like to see him ask a true artist like Sophie Tucker to clear off a table before she started washing dishes. He'd be in traction for a week.
Ouch. I don't see why folk can't sing with their shoes on.
Oh my gosh, Princeton again.
I'm sorry, are you open?
Do you have a reservation, sir?
A reservation? No.
Oh, yes, we do have a cancellation. Right this way, sir.
Take it off, baby. Just take it off.
Bring me a drink first, will you? Bourbon and plain water.
There's no liquor in a coffee house, sir.
You mean that's on coffee?
Most of those divinity students bring it with them.
I see.
The menu, sir?
I understand you have quite a floor show here.
Oh, the best in town. Might I suggest a specialty de la maison?
All the razzmatazz, huh?
Nice little piece of pizza. I'm sure you'll enjoy it.
I'm sure I will. What time does it go on?
Life, death, and a small installment due.
Can you hold it a minute or two, Alex? That's our house poet, sir.
Well, he's not the show, is he?
Oh, no. We have some folk singers. Two of the most beautiful girls you ever saw, straight out of the Ozarks.
And they strip, too, don't they?
Strip?
You know, take it off.
Well, it generally depends.
On what?
On what kind of mood they're in. You know what I mean?
No, I don't.
Well, some nights you can't get them to take off a bead. And other nights, man, oh man, wham. I've got a hunch they're a little junked up tonight.
Dope? Dope?
Well, it wasn't Dad's old-fashioned root beer. You just sit steady and I'll be right back with the pizza. I have an idea you have really hit one of our jackpot nights. Hey, where's that pizza that was around here the other day?
Pizza? What pizza?
Don't tell me somebody threw it out.
Anything to throw out, I eat. Oh my gosh, do you know what time it is? We're gonna be late for that rally. We gotta hurry.
Before anybody goes to any rally, will one of you look outside in that big can?
Life, death, and a small installment due.
Yeah, say, before you get started on that, Karen.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Tell me something about these girls here.
Yeah, what about them?
Well, just how far do they really go?
Go where?
When they strip.
When who strip?
When the girls here, when they, how much do they take off?
Is that what he told you?
Whenever they're in the mood, he said.
Well, it's just a matter of time now before they come and get him.
Him? You mean they don't?
Of course not. Who'd look?
What do you mean?
You ever see them? I just as soon see my Aunt Minnie strip.
Hey! Just a second here. I don't think I cared for that last remark of yours.
About what?
That reflection on the way they looked, on the way these girls looked. I suggest you apologize.
I don't get it. Apologize for what?
For saying that nobody would look if they stripped.
But what's it to you? I mean, what do you care whether anybody would want to look or not?
It so happens that one of them is my daughter.
You mean you want me to look at her?
Of course I don't want you to look at her, but at the same time I resent your saying you wouldn't look at her because it's an affront and it's a reflection on the way she looks and the way she looks, and I demand an apology.
Very well. I apologize.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That's all I ask. All I ask.
I'd be very happy to look at her.
Listen, now, that's enough. That's enough. The apology has been accepted, and that's the whole thing is case is closed, and just forget it.
Oh, sir, I'm... David, what are you doing here?
Well, the Bar Association had a meeting in town, and...
I'm so glad to see you. How long can you stay? Oh, darn, we've got this big band, the Bomb Rally tonight. And oh, Linda. Oh, Dad, this is Linda Lehman. Hi. Oh, Dad, this is just about the biggest rally ever. In fact, it's probably the most important in the whole history of horse run, and, well, I'm co-chairman of it.
Oh, well, that's all right. That's all right, Molly. Now, I understand. You go right ahead, and I'll see you in the morning.
Oh, Dad, you're just great, and I do love you. Come on, Linda.
I'll see you tomorrow. What time in the morning?
Oh, right after the sit-in.
Uh-huh.
Kickingly, pantingly, squallingly, outwardly thrusting in pain and shock and disbelief. Hopingly, graspingly, aspiringly, impermanently permanent. All interest canceled. Repossessed. Howl. Howl.
Well, it's one of those joints where everybody in the place has a beard except one or two of the girls. No, nobody took anything off while I was there anyway. Well, Molly just looks wonderful. She just looks fine. Of course, she's pretty busy at the moment, what with the bomb and desegregation and the Berlin Wall and making people put fluoride in their drinking water so they won't get cavities in their teeth. But she's going to fit me in tomorrow after the sit-in. Sit-in. Honey, I'm not sure what that means, but I was talking to a young fellow down in the lobby about it. It has something to do with some books by a fellow by the name of Miller. Henry, well, yeah, Henry Miller. It's controversial stuff, apparently. Well, somebody in town here doesn't want it in the public library. Well, anyway, I picked up a copy of it down at the newsstand, and I'm going to skim through it tonight before I go to sleep. Yeah, just to sort of get the general idea. Okay, dear, and I'll call you tomorrow. Bye, dear. Holy Chihuahua. Excuse me, please. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Whoop, sorry. Excuse me. I beg pardon. I'm sorry.
Hey, Dad!
Watch it, Michaelson. Bottom's always on the floor, remember?
Are you going to sit with us?
Watch that bottom, I tell you.
I beg pardon?
Bottom continuously on the floor in an official sit-in unless removed by force. Committee regulation.
Oh, not yours, Dad.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Oh, Dad, this is Nicky, Ben, Fritz, and Henry Benet. He's a wonderful artist, already famous in France, you know.
Enchanté, monsieur.
Well, how long have you been sitting here?
Since the doors opened at 7 o'clock this morning.
Well, I certainly think Mr. Miller ought to appreciate what you young folks are doing for him.
What do you mean?
I wouldn't sit on a marble floor for 2 hours for Elizabeth Taylor, much less Henry Miller.
But we're not just doing it for him. It's the principle of the thing.
Today, Henry Miller. Tomorrow, J.D. Salinger.
It's just another form of book burning, you know.
But what about school?
Oh, there's no school today. It's Saturday.
No, I don't mean only today. I mean any day. I mean, you may not realize it, but you never once have mentioned studies or classes or anything
Dad,
about...
I can make it up. Unless they throw us in the clink again.
You boys and girls remember, you got to clean up all that paper and bottles before you leave here. You heard me.
No, wait a minute, Molly. I don't go for this. I don't like this at all. Now, going to jail every other weekend is just not what your mother and I had in mind when we sent you to college.
But you don't approve of book burning, do you?
Look, for the kind of book I dipped into last night, I wouldn't go to jail if they were going to burn Miller himself.
But the whole history of human freedom is a history of protest, Dad. Protest against what the people thought was wrong. And what we're doing here, civil disobedience, why, oh, that's just exactly the way Gandhi freed India.
Oh, well, India wasn't mixed up in the kind of monkey shines I was reading about in that tropic book last night.
The artist must have...
Excuse me, this discussion does not include you. Now, Molly, I don't mind your being a martyr, if it's something worth being a martyr for. But I'm not going to have my daughter run up a jail record just so some snot-nosed kid here can cribble about a few dirty words.
Mais non, monsieur, mais pas du tout. Je ne suis pas du tout d'accord avec vous.
Allez-vous, monsieur, until I finish. Huh? And while we're at it, would you be so good as take your hand off my daughter in my presence?
I'm sorry, sir.
Would you be? Thank you, thank you. As a matter of fact, this is why I'm here, honey, to find out what's happened to you. And one thing seems perfectly obvious right now, that you're jail-prone.
Watch that bottom, Michaelson.
And may I point out to you, miss, that my bottom doesn't happen to come under your jurisdiction. Now, I'm not asking you, I'm telling you. Get your stuff together and come with me. We're getting out of here.
Dad, please.
Did you hear what I said?
I can't do it.
Now, look, Molly. I never in my life have given you an outright order, but I've got to now. I'm not going to stand by and see you mess up your life with a lot of cheap, shabby causes.
You're asking too much.
Well, in that case...
Here he comes!
All gone, girls! Dad shot! Sock out!
What the hell is this?
Now, Michaelson.
Sergeant.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Your Honor. Get these people out of here. Yes, sir. And if they won't leave peacefully, throw them out. Yes, sir.
If you please, Mr. Mayor.
If I please what?
Well, we'd appreciate it if you just listened to our protests against local censorship.
That's what I thought. Not interested.
But, Mr.
Not
Mayor...
interested.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Why aren't you interested? That was a perfectly respectful protest. You can reject it if you feel you should, but why can't you be courteous enough to listen to it?
Well, if it isn't, what's his name?
My name's Michaelson, and I'm the father of this young woman here.
And you're defending these dirty books?
Not at all. I'm just defending the right of a citizen to make a protest, even in defense of dirty books.
Sergeant?
I'm also an attorney, and I know what my rights are as well as the rights of all these kids here.
Throw Perry Mason out first.
All right now, Counselor. You heard what His Honor said.
Now, wait a minute, Sergeant. Now, what about these youngsters here? What are you going to do about them?
Carry them out, I suppose.
Okay, if they can take it, I can too. Now, Counselor, don't drop me for Pete's sake. This floor is marble.
All right, girls, now come on, all together. Oh, mine eyes have seen the glory.
How much do you weigh, Counselor?
175 pounds.
And me with a slip disc.
Come on.
Think we should call out the reserves?
I'm sorry, Counselor, but we'll have to give you the regular bum's rush. Grab him, boys.
Hey!
Hey, Mom, Dad's picture's in the paper.
That's it, all right. You'd think they'd flunk her.
They did.
Thanks.
Molly, here we are.
You send her off to become maybe the first woman president of the United States, and what do you get back? Cuckoo the bird girl.
Danny, hi. Dad, I'm so sorry. I really am.
I understand, Molly.
Oh, hi, Dad.
Hi, dear.
Come on over and take a look.
Ah. Uh-huh. I say, what is it?
Well, it's our house.
Oh, yes, I see. What did you have any pattern in mind to begin with?
No.
But I mean, you just can't start whacking away at the thing without any idea at all, can you?
Well, I really can't say, Dad.
Oh, honey, but what I was wondering, is that really the way our house looks to you?
All I know is that I paint the way I feel.
Uh-huh. Well, and I think you better see a doctor.
Dad.
No, I'd like to understand it, honey. I mean, the theory of it. But as long as nobody will explain it to me, I guess I'll just have to go on thinking that most of it's a lot of hogwash. Now, I'd be the first to admit that I don't know very much about modern art. But I happen to be one of the outstanding authorities in the state of California on hogwash.
Here she is now. This is Molly, Monsieur Guérin. And Mr. Michaelson.
Oh, yeah, all right.
Monsieur Guérin is the French consul here in Los Angeles. And he has some very exciting news for you, darling.
Yes, if only all my duties were as pleasant as this, mademoiselle. I am honored to deliver to you, on behalf of the French Ministry of Culture, this invitation to the fellowship in art at l'Académie des Nouveaux Arts.
Is this on the level?
This is Maître Bonnet's nomination to the ministry.
But crying out loud.
She's honored, Monsieur Guérin. We're all honored, more than we can say.
Did you say Bonnet?
Oh, oui, monsieur. There is no more brilliant talent in French art today than Bonnet. Already a painter in the great tradition of Cézanne, Renoir, and Matisse, and as a Chevalier of the Comité des Arts Français, a nomination by him is the ultimate honor for any young artist.
Well, I'll be clear.
Is this a new work?
Oh, yes, but it's not completed yet.
Please, let me see it. Oh, this is ravissant, charmant.
It needs a couple of strokes, don't you think?
Pardon?
The painting.
Oh, oui, monsieur, oui, monsieur.
Of course, it was a tremendous honor, especially for stuff like that. But when I thought of my little girl in Paris... It is with some understandable reluctance that I must acknowledge that there is much to be said for a home in which the dish is no longer in residence. You know, Wellesley's one of the expensive ones, you know, but if you really want to send her there...
I do, and so do you.
Look, just because Molly flaked out...
Okay, just ask. Well, see now, assuming we don't get belted with another tax jump, I figure we just about make it. There's just one catch to it.
What's that?
You and I won't be able to eat during her senior year.
It's Paris.
Give me that. Hello.
Mr. Michaelson? Mr. Frank
Yes,
Michaelson?
this is Mr. Michaelson. Now, don't start worrying until we find out what it is.
Paris, France.
Yes?
You accept the charge?
Yes, I accept the call. Collect.
Go ahead, Paris.
Hello, darling.
Dad? Dad, it's me, Molly.
Molly, what is it?
Dad, have you seen Light this week?
Would you say it again, honey? Have I seen what?
Light magazine, the one that's out today. Have you seen
Molly, are you all right?
it? Of course. I'm fine, Dad. How are you?
Well, then what the hell is the idea of scaring us to death?
Scaring you to death? I don't know what you're
Molly,
talking about.
long distance is for bad news. You can't call from Paris to California and ask somebody if they've read a magazine. You can ask the same question in a letter for 5 cents.
15.
For 15 cents. And another thing, who told you you could reverse the charges internationally?
Just a minute. Just a minute. What is it, darling?
Trying to explain to Dad that my picture's in Light this week.
No! Her picture's in Life, she says. For what, sweetheart?
Painting by a friend of mine, and Life's got a big layout about it, and well, I just didn't want you to miss it.
Of course not. We'll get it tonight. And how's your work getting on?
All fine, and you're all okay.
All fine here, and all our love to you, Angel.
Bye.
Bye, darling.
I'm sorry.
I know. But she was excited.
Is this it?
If his stuff's anything like Molly's, you might have a little trouble recognizing her.
Yipes, 5 of them.
5 what?
She's broken Picasso's record.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
This is not as I remember her.
Oh, she wouldn't actually have to pose for a thing like that, would she?
Well, if she did, he couldn't have been looking at her very carefully.
Well, I don't want to be stuffy.
Talk about your Bridget Bardot. Bonet spends most of his weekends at Saint-Tropez with his young American protege, Molly Michaelson. Wow.
Protege?
Just wait till the kids see this. I'll just...
You take this magazine to school, young lady, and you will not get another nickel's allowance until you're 21.
Look, I don't think any of my enemies would say that I'm a prude.
But they all wear those bikinis over there, Frank.
No, forget about the bikini. You know who that punk is?
What punk?
That punk right there. Bonet, Henry Bonet. That's the punk that was pawing her in the sit-in.
What are you talking about, pawing her in the sit-in?
In the sit-in, in Hawthorne, about the books. I told you all about it. That's the punk who was pawing her right in front of me.
He's real cute.
Right in front of her own father.
But you know how the French are.
Well, just like I didn't exist at all.
Let me fix you a drink.
You know, what that punk has nominated her for is a fellowship in pawing.
Now, look, dear, let's not jump to any conclusions yet until
do you know what life means when they say protege?
Well...
When they say protege, they're winking. It's their way of slipping you the dirt. When they say protege, what they're really saying...
Okay. The brown bag or the black?
Both.
Is it really as bad as I think it is? Huh?
Almost. Molly, come here. Darling, painting is all emotion and feeling. Now, that would not be a good painting. Not enough feeling. But now. There, you put that on canvas. You have a masterpiece.
If I put that on canvas, nobody would dare hang it.
That is what a painting needs. What comes from here.
But look at it. I mean, we've been at it for weeks. I'll never learn. Oh, Henry, what kind of a protege am I?
Darling, you have it twisted all around. For these past weeks, I have been your protégé.
Mine?
Look at what you've taught me. How to give of myself, not to be afraid to need someone. And there is something much more important than my work. Much more important.
Oh, darling.
Shh.
Were you on the wrong side of the bed when you arose? And did a leaky fountain pen redecorate your clothes? Did you have a snack at night which didn't quite agree? Well, let's do what they do, the people of Paris. Chante, chante, sing a little Paris song. Chante, chante, come on, everybody sing along. Let's all sing when any little thing goes wrong. Toodaloo, toodaloo, sing with me, merci beaucoup. Toodaloo, toodaloo, everyone chante. Did you lose a kiss because your lover has a cold? And did you go to buy a bargain after it was sold? Did an apple hit you while you stood beneath a tree? Oh, let's do what they do, the people of Paris. Chante, chante, sing a little Paris song. Chante, chante, come on everybody, sing along. Let's all sing when any little thing goes wrong. Toodaloo, toodaloo, sing with me, merci beaucoup. Toodaloo, toodaloo, everyone chante. Toodaloo, toodaloo, sing with me, merci beaucoup. Toodaloo, toodaloo, everyone chante.
Toute la soirée, je vais partager avec vous, mais maintenant, elle est à moi. Mine, do you hear? All mine. Now, let's go. It's getting late.
Okay. No, you heard the master. Thank you.
Thank you.
Assez.
Good night.
I go to La Bella Scotia Rue d'Edinburgh. You know where that is? Rue d'Edinburgh? It's like Scotland, Edinburgh.
I recognize you, Mr. Stewart. May I be of assistance?
Well, would you tell this fellow I want to go to Rue de Bella Scotia Rue d'Edinburgh?
Hôtel de la Belle Écosse, Rue d'Edimbourg.
How do you like that? Dead on the first word.
I don't think you have too much trouble, Mr. Stewart. Everybody in Paris speaks English these days.
Would you tell him to take it easy, too?
Monsieur Stewart vous demande de conduire lentement. Il n'est pas pressé.
Yeah, I've heard about these cab drivers.
Absolutely fearless.
That's what I've heard about. Here. Thank you. Nice try.
Darling, it's a little difficult to drive this way.
Is this a little more comfortable?
That's fine.
Do you know who I'm going to go as?
Go where?
To the masquerade, silly. I'm going to go as Cleopatra.
Oh, wonderful idea. A blonde Cleopatra.
No. I'm going to wear a wig or dye my hair black or something. Oh, and lots of icky makeup.
Absolutely enchanting.
And you go as Julius Caesar.
No. Julius Caesar loves Cleopatra. I go as Mark Antony. I want her.
I don't think you'll find any trouble, sir. Everyone here speaks English these days.
Well, thank you. Hope you're right.
Thank you, sir.
Taxi? Say, I want to go to that address. You know where it is? And take it easy, s'il vous plaît. Very easy. Comprende? Take it easy. You're slow. Très slow. Comprende?
I always tell them I'm pregnant. Wait up. Fill this up, will you? Bien, monsieur.
Hey, you sure this is it?
Qu'est-ce que c'est, monsieur? I'm looking for Miss Michaelson, Miss Molly Michaelson. I'm her father.
Au 5e, 5th floor, upstairs.
5th?
5.
My name's Michaelson.
Shh, not so loud.
Frank Michaelson. I'm looking for my daughter, Molly.
Molly?
Molly, she lives here, doesn't she?
Oh, yes.
Well, may I come in?
Well, yes. This minute, she's not here, Senor Michelson. She not tell us you are coming.
Well, as a matter of fact, it was one of those quick decisions.
Won't you sit down?
Oh, no.
I am one of her roommates, Silvana Lombardo.
Savannah, how do you do?
Molly didn't tell us you were coming.
All right. Who has been using my toothbrush on their shoes?
Oh, excuse me, I didn't know there was someone here.
All right, girls, now look. Will somebody please tell me where my daughter is?
Comment voulez-vous qu'on puisse dormir avec tout ce boucan, ça, alors?
Je suis désolée, c'est le père de Molly.
Oh, je m'en fiche, même si c'est le général de Gaulle. Je m'en fiche, moi j'ai besoin de dormir. Et je veux qu'on me fiche la paix pour que je sache dormir.
They work all night, so now they must get their sleep.
Well, I'm terribly sorry. I'm just trying to find out where my daughter is.
Didn't she say she was going to the country for a few days? I see, the country with the people she was speaking about. From Boston.
All right, now, if you hear from her, will you tell her I'm here? Yes. And I'm staying at the Hotel Della Bella Scosi. Scusi? It means beautiful Scotland in English. It's Scosi. It's in the book. And may I ask one more question, please? What do these girls do all night if they sleep all day?
Just what do you mean?
I don't know. My daughter lives here. I'd just like to know who...
Il pense que nous faisons le trottoir.
Quoi? Mets-le à la porte. Dehors!
Salaud! Il est là. Foutez le camp. Évidemment. Non, mais disons, salaud. Qu'est-ce qui se passe? Oh, mais il pense que nous sommes... que nous faisons... vous savez bien ce que je vais dire. Oh, salaud.
Taxi? Taxi! Taxi! Hey! Taxi!
Oh, vous mentez, c'est des mensonges.
Good evening. You speak English?
No.
Oh. Any of your friends speak English?
No.
You telephone?
Hein?
Telephony?
Ici, monsieur.
Oh, no, thank you. Just the telephone. Just.
Come, follow me.
Telephone?
Yes.
Merci.
Là-bas, monsieur.
Oh, merci. Merci. Oh, I have no taxi. I thought maybe I'd call the hotel and they could send a car. You know, automobile.
Monsieur comment? Hôtel? Which hotel?
The Bellascosi?
Bellicose?
Bellicose, yeah.
Bon. Bellicose. Le voici. Opéra 6591.
6, 5, 9.
I turn the wheel for you.
Oh, no, here, I'll turn the wheel. You don't have to go to all that trouble.
Hello, Hôtel Bellicose. Ne quittez pas, s'il vous plaît.
Oh, merci, mademoiselle. Merci very much. Hello? This is Frank Michaelson. I'm in room 514. I was wondering... Pardon? Well, do you have anybody there that can speak English? Anybody that can speak English, eh? English. I can't make them understand anything I say.
Mais voyons, il doit y avoir quelqu'un qui parle anglais.
Vous deux, sortez par en haut. Quand on reste, vous me suivez. Allons-y.
N'importe qui.
Hey, what about my taxi? Hello? You speak English? I'm not calling Mr. Michaelson. I'm him. Don't you understand? I'm Mr. Michaelson. Hey, what about this phone call?
Allons-y, mon petit, pas de résistance, hein? Bien compris.
Arrêtez, je suis un enfant. Je suis une belle vieille et je suis même ici pour reprendre avec mon mari.
Oh, mais ce n'est pas plus votre mari que moi, vous travaillez ici.
Vous n'avez pas le droit de m'arrêter. Mes enfants, c'est tout à fait formidable que monsieur est mon mari. Tell him you're my husband.
I'm your husband?
You see, he said.
Ça va, bien dans ce cas-là, on va arrêter tous les deux. Allez, bon,
Wait a minute. There must be some mistake. I just came in here to get a taxi. What? I have no right here. I'm an American citizen.
Please, attendez, mon avocat, je suis ruiné.
Oh, c'est Jimmy Stewart.
Donc les souhaits, monsieur Stewart.
Hey, Mom, Dad's picture's in the paper again.
Throw it in the garbage.
Throw it in the...
I got into a little jam like that once.
Hector, telling me your troubles at this point would be like complaining to Noah about a drizzle. I think you'd better come back with me, darling.
Dad, please.
Now, Molly, you've had crushes like this before.
This isn't a crush.
Oh, baby.
And I'm not a baby. I'm nearly 20. I'm grown. And, Dad, I love him the way you used to love Mom.
Used to?
You know what I mean.
Well, what about him? Does he love you?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, does he want to marry you?
Yes, very much.
Has he said so?
Of course.
Well, then what is it? Does he want to talk to me, or me talk to him, or what?
Well, I'm afraid at the moment it's a very embarrassing situation.
He isn't married already.
Oh, no, it's nothing like that. It's his family. They're a very old, aristocratic, conservative family, and, well, they got kind of upset by that picture.
Well, I must say, I don't blame them for that. It was nutty enough for Picasso to dream up 3.
Oh, no, not that one. The one where you were in the Paris match with that Chinese girl.
Oh, well, that was a mistake. It was a misunderstanding. The story explained that.
Well, I understand that, and so does Henry, but it's his mother. Oh, it's just sort of ridiculous. Oh, Dad, they're not really anti-American.
Oh, so that's it?
No, not really.
Well, bully for them. Bully. They're not anti-American. They just don't want their son to marry one. Is that it? How old is this punk?
He's not a punk.
All right, how old is this non-punk?
23.
23. And he has to go running to Mama and Papa to ask permission to marry the girl that he loves.
No, he doesn't, but he doesn't want to hurt their feelings if he can help it. Well, if you don't mind my saying so, everything was just perfectly wonderful before you got mixed up with that Chinese girl.
I did not get mixed up with any Chinese girl.
No, not really, but well, mixed up with her in the paper. And, oh, Dad, you look so drunk in that picture. And they're not anti-American.
Now, you listen to me. I want you to go and get your things. We're leaving here tonight.
No.
Now, I don't want to argue about this, Molly.
I won't go.
You'll be here at 9 o'clock tonight with your bags.
Well, why can't you at least wait until tomorrow morning to discuss this when you're not so upset?
Well, who's upset?
Is this the first time you've ever tried to get a daughter out of Paris?
Yep.
May I offer a suggestion?
Yeah, of course.
Drop it.
Well, I'm afraid I can't.
Her mother's orders, eh?
Naturally.
Few mothers know when they're well off. Me too.
Well, you mean you have a daughter in Paris, too?
3.
3? Well, was that why you're here?
You're only for the youngest, Mirabelle. We gave up on the other 2 years ago. Pammy Whammy and what was her name? But Mrs. Pope Jones is very fond of Mirabelle. She keeps talking about her when she was young, though personally I never cared for her.
How old is she?
Mirabelle would be about... Has anyone ever told you you're very like someone?
Mm-hmm. Is she a student?
Well, I mean, they're all students, aren't they, to start with? Mirabelle is studying the psychology of abstraction in the 15th century. Personally, I should be stunned to learn that she could spell cat. A film star.
My daughter, Molly, is studying art.
Oh, well, of course, you can never tell with that stuff nowadays.
With Bonnet?
Oh, yes. Well, Mirabelle got herself a fellow called Jean-Pierre or something. Scummy-looking fellow, but then, as she pointed out, it was really her affair, not mine.
Well, do you think that's what she really meant?
How do you mean?
Affair.
Well, why would she say so if it wasn't?
Well, I was just wondering.
Oh, no, it isn't affair. You should have seen them together like 2 turtle doves. A room like a pigsty.
Well, didn't you say anything?
Yes, I did. I said this room is like a pigsty. An American film star, and I'll tell you his name in a moment.
Well, didn't you do anything either?
You mean about the room?
No, I mean about your daughter living there with that man.
Well, what, for instance?
Well, you could at least have ordered her to stop it.
Well, what good would that have done?
Well, you mean you've got no control over your daughter?
No, not the slightest. Last time I told her to stop something, she told me to drop dead.
Well, you could have at least ordered him out.
Of his own room?
Well, if you don't mind my saying so, you just don't sound as though you really minded.
My dear fellow, there are lots of things I mind that I can't do anything about.
Well, believe me, if it had been my daughter, I certainly could have.
Yes?
I would have found some way. And would you excuse me? I'm going to cancel my plane reservation. Excuse me.
Got it. Waiter.
Oui, monsieur.
Do you know who that fellow looks like?
Pardon?
Henry Fonda. Henry Fonda, the American film star. Will you ever forget him in Gone with the Wind?
Hello.
I'm terribly sorry, Dad.
Molly, if I ask you something, will you tell me the truth?
I'll try.
All right. Now, Molly, are you, are you, and this fella has their...
Oh, Dad.
Never mind. I don't want to know. Forget the whole thing. Oh. Hello. Wait a minute. Where are you? Hello?
He hung up.
Your father and my mother.
He's really very nice, you know, when he's not worrying about my virtue.
Oh, he's charming. If Maman ever met him, I know she wouldn't. Darling, never mind him. If she once met you, I know she wouldn't be concerned.
Oh, so you think that she'd be so impressed by me that she might be able to overlook my father?
Well, not exactly overlook.
You want to use me as an apology for my father, is that it?
No, I didn't mean apology.
Well, listen, Mr. Toulouse-like jerk, nobody has to apologize for my father.
Of course they don't.
He's a kind, wonderful man who happened to get into a little bit of a mess because he traveled 6,000 miles just to look after me.
I know, Chérie. I admire your father. He's a fine man. I also admire my mother. She's a good woman.
They're both stupid.
But they are our parents. Just meet Maman, darling. I know you will like each other. Will you, Molly?
Yes.
Thank you, Chérie.
Now, about that Chinese girl.
Yeah. It was my English friend, Mr. Pope Jones, who persuaded me to accompany him to the Ball d'Art Nu that evening.
Ball what?
The Ball of Naked Art.
Uh-oh.
You see, for the last 3 days, I'd been trying to persuade those girls to tell me where Molly was, and I was desperate. But Mr. Pope Jones told me I was bound to see her at the ball because Bonet himself was one of the sponsors. What I didn't realize at the time was that Mr. Pope Jones was nuts.
Come in.
Say, where did you get this stuff?
Now, don't tell me you don't like it.
No, but it's got bugs in it.
Absolutely impossible, my dear fellow. The place is run by an Englishman. What is that? Let's have a look at that furry thing. By Jove, you're right. Cooties.
Cooties?
Seam squirrels, as we used to call them in India. By Jove, Fonda, this takes me back. I know these little fellows like a book. See him?
Well, I'll be doggone. Well, what are you going to do about him?
Fry him.
Fry him?
I don't suppose you have a hairpin on you, have you?
No, no. Oh, he's certainly not alone.
Fry the lot. Hairpins are best. That's what we used to use in India. Still, I expect we shall manage. Oh, yes. This will do splendidly. Now, be careful not to overheat your pen. Do you know, I suppose I can't have exterminated less than 1 million of these little beggars. I'm amazed that there are any left, really, what with DDT and all that electronic stuff. Now, you need a rather steady hand. No good trying this sort of thing with a hangover. And your touch must be as light as a feather, in case the garment's inflammable. There.
Oh, that's very
I'm
good.
sure you'll manage. Don't worry about the time. These heathen bashes don't really explode till midnight.
Wow, thank you very much. Thank you.
Lucky he's got someone around to show him the ropes.
Come out, wherever you are. Wherever you are, come out.
You should really, sir, go on the stage.
Oh, that's uncommonly good of you. You know, there was a time when both Mother and I hoped very much that we might...
Pardon, madame, the carriage.
If you're addressing me, perhaps you'll be good enough to take another look.
Oh, forgive me, monsieur. The carriage is here.
Whose idea was this?
Monsieur Michaelson, sir.
Where was I?
In India, sir.
Of course. My first experiment in the new method of extermination. It calls, as I say, for the touch of a high fence. Inexperienced as I was on that occasion, my operation was inexcusably heavy-handed. Not only did I slash far too boldly at the seams of my best-dressed uniform, my hairpin was red-hot. Not for a moment did I suspect what I might be doing to the stitching within the seams, until at the first formation that morning, when I snapped smartly to attention. Unfortunately, I had decided to forego my underclothes that morning.
Monsieur, je vous en prie, il faut rentrer immédiatement.
Not again.
Please, sir. Inside immediately, sir. Monsieur Michaelson. Monsieur Michaelson.
Seen Mr. Pope Jones?
Yes, I've just come from his room, sir. And he wonders if you would join him there for a moment or two.
Well, what's the matter with him?
Well, there has been a slight mishap, sir. And he's adjusting his apparel.
Well, no, you tell Mr. Pope Jones that I'll send the carriage back for him. And just remind him that it's very important for me to be there on time.
I'll tell him,
He'll
sir.
understand. Thank you. You know where to go?
The bateau mouche, monsieur?
Oh, that sounds like it. Oh, and take it easy, s'il vous plaît. Very easy.
Oui, monsieur.
Allons-y!
Here they come now.
They know they're going to meet me, you're sure?
Molly, do you think Mama would dress up as Queen Isabella for everyone? Only if she were going to meet a princess.
But what if she doesn't like me? What if we don't get along? It's possible, you know?
Molly, when someone knows you, she will love you. Just as a son does. Now, come along.
Well, all right, but suddenly this boat is beginning to feel like a barge, but that's how Cleopatra met her death, too.
S'il vous plaît. Merci. Encore une fois, s'il vous plaît. Merci beaucoup.
Bonsoir, maman. Bonsoir, papa. Je suis si content que vous ayez pu venir.
Tu t'amuses, mon chéri.
Beaucoup, maman. Et maintenant, permettez-moi de vous faire la connaissance de Molly.
Viens.
Et voici Molly, maman.
Madame, ça fait longtemps que je désire vous connaître, mademoiselle.
Maman says she's looked forward to the pleasure of meeting you, Molly.
Thank you, so have I.
And this is my father, Molly.
Enchanté, mademoiselle.
He's
Elle
enchanted.
est charmante.
She said you're charming. Maman, Molly doesn't understand French very well.
No, do you speak English?
I speak English, but since we're in France, I prefer to speak French.
Maman.
Oh, very well. That's a very clever costume, Miss Michaelson.
Thank you.
I have a fine table reserved for us upstairs. Maman?
Après vous, mademoiselle. After you, mademoiselle.
Thank you. Merci.
Oh, there is another clever one. Mon Dieu, every woman seems to be clever.
This way, Maman.
The old Americans?
Oh, no, none of them.
Hello, Molly. What do you hear from home? Everything's fine. Good.
Right over there. Don't worry, darling.
I hope it isn't so crowded around our table.
Maman. Clever.
Oh, c'est Jimmy Stewart! Monsieur Stewart! Qui est? Monsieur Stewart! En arrière! En arrière! Poussez là!
Molly? Oh, excuse me, I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon.
You don't know how much I've wanted the four of us to get together like this. And here we are. Maman, Papa, Molly and me, all together.
Yes, Papa? Oh, I was just clearing my throat.
Michaelson, are you by some chance the daughter of that gentleman whose picture was in the paper recently?
Are you referring to my father?
Oh, then he is no gentleman?
Maman, I told you it was an accident.
Oh, I'm sure it was. It usually is an accident when a man is caught getting drunk with his Chinese mistress.
My father does not get drunk, and he has no Chinese mistress. What he has is a wife and 2 daughters who adore and respect him. Respect him because he happens to be a fine, tactful human being who would never dream of condemning another person on a mass of flimsy, circumstantial evidence.
Very good. Oh, that was very good.
Oh, excuse me.
Maman, ce n'est pas une façon de parler à Molly. C'est inexcusable.
Je t'en prie, Henri.
Oh, I'm so glad you're here.
Oh, yes. Excuse me, miss. Excuse me.
Dad! Dad, it's me, Molly.
Molly.
Oh, Dad.
Oh, my little...
Dad, what happened?
I wonder if our pioneers had as much trouble with their clothes as I'm having.
Oh, never mind. You're coming with me.
Well, where are we going?
Well, Henry's here with his parents, and I want you to meet them.
Oh, the anti-American Hottentots. No, thank you. If I'd known they were going to be here, I'd come as the Duke of Wellington.
Ce n'est pas juste! C'est pas le droit de faire ça! Dégoûtant! C'est pour faire mon travail! Dès qu'on a Jimmy Stewart! Ah, c'est Jimmy Stewart! Ah, monsieur Stewart! C'est une bonne idée! Allons-y!
I'm sorry, darling. I'm sorry. Well, it's going to be all right. I'll meet you. Here, dry your eyes. I'll meet you. It's all right. All right. All right, now, come on, let's go.
Mr. Michaelson, I'm so happy to see you. Such a pleasant surprise. Mr. Michaelson, this is my mother.
How do you do?
Bonsoir, monsieur.
Another chair for the gentleman, please.
Bien, monsieur.
And this is my father, Mr. Michaelson.
Très heureux. How do you do? All right. How do you do?
Please sit down, Mr. Michaelson.
Thank you.
Les photographes sont là, ils viennent pour prendre nos photos. Et cette fois-ci, ça vous plaît, monsieur le photographe?
Splendide, splendide! Dès qu'on a Jimmy Stewart!
Jimmy Stewart!
Donnez cette pause, je reviens tout de suite!
Oh, salaud!
I wanted to meet you two for a specific reason, to correct a certain misimpression that seems to be affecting my daughter's happiness.
A misimpression?
Yes, that I'm some sort of a front-page nut who goes in for crazy antics.
Are you cold, Mr. Michaelson?
A little drafty.
Mais où est-il?
Je ne le vois pas.
Le voilà, Jimmy Stewart.
Jimmy Stewart. En arrière.
Oh, I am sorry I missed it. You must have been simply magnificent.
Your children don't care for you, really, you know. Oh, they say they do, and they'll do a good snow job when they want something from you, but they don't.
If I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. For true love and loyalty, there's nothing like a small dog.
I mean, now take me, for instance, your own father, about to fly the Atlantic Ocean. You'd think that the very least she could do. It is...
Vol 604, à destination de Marseille.
Oh.
À la porte d'embarquement 18.
All right, darling. Now, everything's going to be all right now.
Dad, can we sit down for a minute at a time?
Sure we can. Here, take it. Right over there. Is your ticket all set?
Mm-hmm.
All right, my dear. What happened?
Oh, the same thing. He's still stalling and yakking about his mother's feelings, but, well, it just so happens that I've got a few feelings of my own, and if he thinks I'm just gonna... Oh, here he comes. Don't look.
You make me so furious. This is absolutely ridiculous, Mr. Michaelson. And I beg you to order her to remain here with me.
Well, even for a Frenchman, that seems to me rather an odd request to make of a father.
But I explained it all to you last night, sir. All I'm asking of Molly is a little patience. Out of the same consideration for my mother's feelings that I'm sure Molly would have for yours or her mother's. Then, if my mother should continue to refuse us her blessings, we'll of course marry without them.
And in the meanwhile, what am I supposed to be doing? Just sitting around awaiting her royal pleasure?
In the meanwhile, darling, I will be loving you even more passionately than ever before. My love will be doubled, because you're being both brave and understanding. And my heart will pour out to you such love as neither of us has ever yet even dreamed of.
Oh, I must say, that sounds awfully good to me.
Oh, this is Mr. Pope Jones. It's my daughter, Henry.
Do go right on as if I wasn't here.
Now, look, you two, we've got about 5 minutes to make a very important decision here.
I've already made my decision.
Now, first, then. Now, just how long were you thinking of giving your mother?
Dad, really?
No, I mean a week, 2 weeks?
Your father's quite right, dear. There's nothing shiftier than a lover's promise.
Is a month too much to ask, sir, for a lifetime of happiness?
Well, no. A month doesn't seem too unreasonable to me under the circumstances.
You aren't serious, are you?
My eldest daughter and the bloke she was going to marry wrangled about this point for over 2 years before nipping off to the parson. And they tell me they're still quite happy as these things go nowadays.
You see, darling.
On the other hand, my second child, what was her name, got so fed up hearing her chap blathering about his mother that one morning when he woke up, she wasn't there. And he never set eyes on her from that day to this.
You see, darling.
No, wait. I suggest that for the moment we forget about marriage completely and settle our thoughts on what I believe to be an even more important relationship, and that's love.
What was it Keats said? Oh, happy day. Oh, happy, happy day. No. Oh, happy joy. Oh, happy...
Well, now, first, Molly, you love Henry, don't you?
I loathe him.
I see. And Henry, you love her, don't you?
Mr. Michaelson, I worship every sweet centimeter of her whole beautiful body.
I didn't ask you for detail. Do you love her or don't you? Yes or no?
Yes, sir. Yes, I do. Very, very much.
You mean you're going to leave me here anyway?
More happy love. More happy, happy love. Forever warm and still to be enjoyed. Forever panting and forever young. Keats.
Sweetheart, honest, if just only you're happy.
I love you, Dad. I only hope that I can love him as much as I do you.
I shall never forget this if I live to be 1,000.
Royal Ambassadeur New York. À la porte d'embarquement.
If they ever say anything in English.
Transworld Airlines, flight 801. Royal Ambassador for New York.
Goodbye, darling.
Departing from gate 33. All aboard. Départ B, O et C. Vol 222. À destination de Londres. À la porte d'embarquement.
Married that same afternoon.
A most interesting account, despite the rather peculiar circumstances. However, before I put the matter of Mr. Michelson's dismissal to a vote, I think I should remind the board members that this explanation is quite unsupported by any proof. Actually,
if you think girls are a problem, you should have a son away at college.
That's your sweet life.
A mother can at least reason with a daughter.
Since when? Mine won't even listen.
Oh, no, girls are the worst.
As God is my judge, I haven't had a solid night's sleep since my daughter got to Vassar.
Right off the bat, he's got to have a car of his own.
That's it. That's when it really hits a fan, when he's got to drive the car.
That's when they really begin to hate you.
Well, you heard what that president of Vassar said.
I even told me so. What do you say when they want their own Diners Club card?
Charge account. When you're telling your kid a charge account, brother, you're opening the door for all the trouble in the world. And you talk about a car. Absolutely ridiculous. The courses they take.
I don't blame you. You talk about insurance. My guy hates me. You know why? He cracked up 4 times. My insurance been canceled. I can't get insurance except at an exorbitant premium. And there's one more thing. We've got a boy at Amherst. You know what one of his studies is? Medieval flute playing. I'm paying $2,500 a year for that lummox to play a lousy flute. Of course, it doesn't matter now. I certainly see where I made a mistake here and there. I mean, for one thing, I was making a federal case out of perfectly normal behavior, so... What do you want, onion, olive?
Onion.
There's one thing we just must never forget, Anne, and that is that girls are always going to turn into women at a certain age, and when this thing happens, why, they're going to start looking around at boys, and boys are going to start looking back.
Hey,
And
Dad.
Yeah, I'll be with you in a minute, dear. And it's all a perfectly healthy, wholesome process.
I'll make a note of that.
You know, experience is a wonderful thing. You learn so much. I'm very grateful for this experience I've had with Molly, because parents have to grow up just like children have to grow up.
Dad!
Don't you?
Dad! Come out a minute. I want you to see the swan dive that Johnny taught me. I tried it yesterday, but it wasn't so hot. But I think I can do it today. Come on, watch me.
Doesn't she look sweet?
Well, sweet, but she hasn't got any clothes on.
Hey, Johnny, I'm ready.
All right. What's all this business up here? When did that happen?
Here I go.
Liz!
Look at me, Dad.
Liz, you take that thing off.
2, 3, jump.
Come in here and put something on. Don't you have any control over the kid? What kind of a place are we running here? Liz, and do something.